And so recording has started. Go ahead.
Lovely. Thank you very much. All right. Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining the call. So my name is Ilya Tregubenko. I'll be delivering this webinar today. So also on the call, you would have heard Ari Collette. Ari manages the channel for Parallels in ANZ and Southeast Asia. So both of us can be reached through the PSP at parallels.com email address. I would also suggest that you feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn too. So a little bit of housekeeping, the chat is open. So feel free to ask questions as we go along. And Ari will be able to address those questions in real time for you. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Parallels Service Provider Program. So as you know, this program is wrapped around our remote application server technology. It's specifically designed to enable you as our partners to win more business and do it profitably as more and more connections shift to the cloud. So what we'll do is we'll give you a bit of an understanding as to where the market is heading from where we see it, and we'll try and connect the way that we've designed this program with I guess the direction of the market. Right, so here's the market direction and I guess the opportunity. You can see the size of the pie on the slide. So businesses are tending to gravitate more towards the OPEX model as opposed to the CAPEX model, so that's operational expenditure, with an ever-increasing amount of their IT budgets being allocated to managed services. You'll also see that there's a high instance of hybrid cloud deployments as well, which is quite important. So growing data privacy concerns and the necessity to ensure data security are the key factors driving the growth of the desktop virtualization market across the globe. The global desktop virtualization market, which is combined of both hosted and on-prem, is expected to reach just under $15 billion by 2024. That's having grown from about $7 billion in 2016. So this represents a compound annual growth rate of about 11%. So once again, this is a combination of hosted and on-prem segments. So as we dig in a little bit into that market, the software enabling hosted desktop as a service, so DaaS segment of the market will have a 5-year compound annual growth rate of about 32%, so 32.1%. Whereas the on-prem virtual client computing segment of the same market will have a 5-year compound annual growth rate of 2.8%. So what does that tell us? So that basically gives us a forecast that says that the hosted segment compared to the on-premise segment is projected to grow at a rate of 10 to 1. So that's for every 1 seat on-prem, you'll get 10 connections up in the cloud. So you can see, and I'm probably very well aware of the primary drivers for this, and that they're listed on that slide. So they're mainly focused around streamlining costs and improved security, although there's obviously, I guess, other drivers as well. Okay, so this is a fairly busy slide. So IDC MarketScape positions Parallels as a major player in new worldwide virtual computing vendor assessment. So it's a really nice heading, but it's somewhat of a busy slide. So it would be more accurate to say that IDC MarketScape maintains Parallels as a major player in the worldwide virtual computing space. So you could actually get a copy of the most recent report by scanning the QR code. So while you do that, I'll just build a little bit of a storyline around this slide, because I was still working with Parallels in previous years, so I'm across some of these previous reports. And the previous IDC reports cited cost effectiveness and simplicity as the key features of our product, and used to put us squarely in a major player position. So this new report that's come out just in January of 2020 shows that we not only remain a cost-effective and user-friendly solution, but that we've also achieved feature parity with the competition, so even exceeding the capabilities of some of the competitors where we overlap. So that's a really good story around this slide that the report doesn't quite tell on its own. Right, so the goals and benefits of applications as a service, AS and DaaS, and VDI for business. So I'll unpack these from, I guess, from top to bottom. All right, so the main, I guess, benefits are around the increase of productivity for businesses. So what that means is essentially new employees can become more productive quicker when they can use a familiar device. So that's sort of invoking BYOD and CYOD policies. Increased responsiveness by workers being able to access their work anytime, anywhere. Obviously, what's attractive is the faster onboarding of employees as well. And also, I guess to a lesser extent, improved employee satisfaction, which comes from, you know, this sort of flexibility that can be, I guess, offered to your customers through Parallel's remote application server. Improved service delivery. So what I want to note there is the business continuity aspect of it, which is sort of, I guess, flavour of the last couple of months. So if employees can't work in the office because of weather conditions or pandemic or disasters, they can work from anywhere by using a personal device. And also scalability, which kind of goes hand in hand with that business continuity. With a hosted solution, you can scale up or down. So that means you never pay for more than what you use. And the risks and expenditures associated with growth are greatly reduced or eliminated. Also on lowering costs, that's a big one for businesses always, but even more importantly now. For devices and management, if you can securely allow BYOD or CYOD, that is definitely lower cost. The ability to repurpose older endpoints, maybe use thin clients. Also that the desktop and application as a service eliminates the need for businesses to manage the back-end responsibilities such as data storage, backup, security, and upgrades. And these are all additional services that you as partners could potentially pick up on. There's also general cost savings from moving to the cloud, which are, I guess, sort of many to name. Moving to a hosted solution makes it possible for businesses to avoid the expenses associated with these physical servers. Instead, they pay only for what they use. So they enjoy better cash flow and better budgeting. That sort of ties back to the OPEX situation. For more companies, it may also mean not having to rewrite critical applications into web apps. So this is really applicable to maybe some of the independent software vendors that are on this call, but also to some of the, I guess, potential end users that you might deal with. So if they've got some business critical apps that are not web ready, this is a perfect solution to, I guess, take them to the cloud. Another point to make here is that hosted desktop solutions significantly reduce energy use and carbon emissions, making them more environmentally friendly than traditional desktop solutions. So this should always be part of your conversation when you're speaking with your customers. On mitigating risk, so I'll just touch on agility and disaster recovery. So there's a great deal of flexibility attached to accessing business critical data in DaaS-powered cloud service. So data can be accessed quickly and reliably. This also means that as the data structure needs to shift or geographical needs arise, the changes to data are incredibly easy to implement because it's all centralized. But also, you're getting improved data quality, and this is largely due to the fact that the bulk of data access is primarily controlled through the data service itself. So this adds a robust layer of security and improved data quality. So our program is designed to help you unlock and deliver high-value, margin-rich projects by providing you with a user-friendly, secure, and cost-effective tool in Parallel's remote application server. So we're basically looking to hit all the sweet spots with this program. So here are just some of the inhibitors which you might come across. So it's good to be aware of them. You need to be able to reasonably be reasonably accurate in your cost and infrastructure assumptions and select the most appropriate cloud provider. So the good news is that with Parallels Remote Application Server, you can do just that. Our Remote Application Server technology is a totally cloud agnostic product. So it gives you the ability to choose from a range of public and private cloud providers. And it gives you that flexibility that you can extend to your customers. So we've also got an ROI calculator on a partner portal and some white papers which should help you with this sort of sizing and forecasting. As a partner, you've also got access to our pre-sales engineers who can sort of assist you in, I guess, building out the solution. So there are obvious security and privacy concerns which should and can be addressed through a range of security measures. Existing applications may not be built for SaaS delivery, for example. So how do you go to market with that? And how long does it take to rectify, and what investment is required? So that's all that sort of forms. These are all things that can be part of the conversation that you have with your customers. Right. So what we've developed is a solution set that's predicated around the concept or a term called virtual client computing. So how do you deploy your solution set across any device and gain access to it securely? No matter how the infrastructure is deployed, we don't care if it's on-prem, in your own data center or a public cloud provider like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, etc., you name it. Perhaps a hybrid cloud combination, that's completely up to you. So it's important for me to highlight that from a cost perspective, when you leverage our solution set, you're getting all of these features as a single license cost, charged monthly in arrears. So it includes web access to any device, it's very secure. The protocols which we use are tried, true, and tested within the IT infrastructure space. And from a licensing cost perspective, it's all about driving that total cost of ownership. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on that in the next few slides. Okay. So how do we help you as service providers? Well, we can extend that value to your customers. So sort of simplified solution set, which is easy and quick to deploy, manage, and maintain. So we also think that we've done a very good job at developing the user interface, whether you're using the client or clientless versions of our solutions, and customize it particularly to the handheld device space, which is really, I guess, a strong suit for us considering our background. Parallels Remote Application Server has native hand gestures, as an example, to mimic and drive the same sort of users and productivity that you would get out of a fully fledged desktop. So the user experience, if you're mobilizing the application and that it's being used on a handheld device, is particularly impressive. This is very helpful for independent software vendors, but can also be extended to customers such as those that work in the medical fields, for example. So our solution is very easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. The program boasts multi-tenancy features, which allow multiple customers to share the same infrastructure. And this in turn allows you to further drive those costs down, especially when you couple it with some of our other features. So you'll most likely find this out when you're building out your models and proofs of concept. But what we see is, that there's an increased monthly recurring revenue stream that gets added on as you're providing this as a service. We think we've built what we call a win-win business model. Very simple, very low barriers to entry, in fact, almost none. It's very easy to get into this. There are no upfront costs for prepayment from the licensing, and we'll support you 24/7 as long as you're part of this program. And I can't stress this enough. From an operational perspective, when you're able to, to jump on a call with someone from our team, either myself, Ari, or anyone else, and we're able to, I guess, resolve your issue quicker in that way and help you out. Okay, so Here is a value for you as a service provider, ISV, or reseller. So a very simple way to deploy a solution set. If you're coming from a Citrix or from a VMware background, one of the things that I hear on calls with these admins and end users who've got experience with sort of a competitor's product, they always say, oh, do we need to do anything else? Is there something that I've missed? Do I need to click anywhere else? You know, is that all basically? And that just speaks to the, I guess, how easy to use our product is and how intuitive it is. We've got quite a few independent software vendors as well that are part of this program. So many of them had challenges deploying their SaaS models. So we provide the tools and delivery mechanisms that allows you to deploy software as a service without having to rewrite code. The values are here. It's a very profitable solution set for service providers. It's very easy, hopefully, to see the value that it brings. And it helps, particularly in situations where we are today, to deploy quickly, to scale up or down, and just as importantly, to pay as you go. So a product that's easy to use, cost effective. We feel that together with our parallel service provider program that we've built a bit of a framework for you and for us to succeed in this space. So it's a bit of a framework. So a high value solution that's easy to use, manage, and maintain. So this is an all-in-one, which means you can add services as you go at no extra cost. So there's no different levels of the product or difficult conversations that you need to have. The one license has everything in there, and it's up to you whether or not you choose to, I don't know, take advantage of the load balancing, for example, that we have that's included in our license fee. It's simple to deploy, so you can spin up new customers within hours. I mean, I've been on proof of concept calls where we've deployed that proof of concept, published an app and VDI in about an hour and a half, which is just fantastic. Simple management, which means there's no expensive IT resources required to manage multiple customers. So think of that from a profit perspective. You don't need the extra headcount. You don't need someone who's spent thousands of dollars being certified in Citrix and just trying to recoup that cost. It's very, very cost effective. Our cost effective licensing model and simplified billing management. So we've got a SPLA billing model that lowers costs by paying for actual usage. We charge monthly in arrears based on your maximum number of connections in that particular month, or on a particular day in that particular month. Our billing system is automated and it's pretty simple. I'll give you some screenshots of that so you can have a look. But also, what's just as important is you get a single SPLA key for all of your deployments, which simplifies your client management. I'll also dig into that a little bit more in the next few slides. And that's all wrapped up in a comprehensive 24/7 partner support program. So as I said, there's no fee for you to join. There's no upfront cost. There's no barriers to entry. So it's by far the lowest per user cost without sacrificing value, which increases profit and improves competitive position. And there's many a time where our partners have tipped others, have tipped incumbents in accounts by using Parallel's remote application server as their way in, quote unquote. We'll also provide you with the resources you need to build and deliver highly profitable solutions. So as partners, you not only have access to free certification and training, but you can also engage with our pre-sales engineers who can assist you. Especially useful in going through particular customers' needs and requirements. So all in all, Parallel's remote application server is a high value solution that's easy to use, manage, and maintain. Another busy slide, but I'll sort of unpack it one by one. So we've cultivated Parallel's remote application server and tailored its development now towards service providers. So we're up to Parallels Remote Application Server version 17.1.1. So version 17 was specifically released with a lot of features for service providers. So whether you're publishing applications, desktops, or VDI, we provide that on any device. It can be multi-tenanted. The load balancing is included as part of the solution set as well. And also we bring reporting capabilities on the back end. So the reporting means that you can sub-license your key. So if you want to break your sessions out by, say, by customer or by farm in a multi-tenanted environment, you can do so. And what's the benefit? So, well, the benefit of a sub-license key is that you can establish the thresholds by which a customer has access to the system and limit the number of users which that customer can have accessing the environment. So once again, why is that useful? In this current remote working environment, we've had partners increase their connection counts pretty much overnight and pretty much exponentially. There's a very simple conversation that you're going to have with your customers and simply adjust their license key afterwards. So the point here is that nothing happens without you, as the partner, taking control of it, so that you've got the mechanism in place with your customer to be able to negotiate terms prior to it happening. As you look at our solution set relative to what you're using today, we believe, and we've seen time and time again, that we create an unbeatable total cost of ownership proposition to you as the partner. And here's another thing. For us, it doesn't really matter how you deploy the solution. So the single license key enables you to deploy it to a customer site, in the cloud, or a combination of the two. So we're not only cloud agnostic, but also hypervisor agnostic, and you can have different hypervisors in your deployment, or a mix of them, to give you an even greater flexibility. And by the way, we can also be deployed in hyper-converged environments. We're certified to run on and integrate with a number of vendors such as Nutanix, Scale, and VMware, and even Dell. So as you look at our solution set, I hope that you'll see a very eloquent and superior user experience. So by all means, if you need a little bit of extra help in setting up a proof of concept, drop us a note, reach out to us, let us know. We're more than happy to do some remote calls and sort of help you do just that. Any device, anywhere, anytime. Parallels Remote Application Server provides seamless access to virtual desktops and applications from practically any device. PCs, Macs, Steam clients, Linux workstations, Chromebooks, iPads, iPhones, Android devices, you name it. If for whatever reason we don't have a client for that endpoint, or the customer doesn't wish to use a dedicated client, you can always leverage the HTML5 enabled browser. So universal printing and scanning, this is our heritage and one of the other things which we've done very well. Our flexible printer and scanning redirection provides users the ability to print and scan locally from their mobile device or web browser. Remote FX support provides the user with a smooth, detailed, and responsive graphical experience regardless of video format or application, while also facilitating use of a wider range of USB devices. There's also the ultra-fast login, which you see on the sort of the bottom left on that picture. So that refers to a machine learning component, which was brought online in RAS version 17. It's used to, very easy to switch on. It's basically just almost like a checkbox that you select. You actually select it from a drop-down menu, but once it's switched on, it takes a little bit of time to just monitor how the users are accessing the system and what they're doing with apps and which apps they're launching and when. And that data is then used to predict user behavior and avoid login storms, also improving network speeds, login times during peak hours through distributing the back-end workload. White labeling, the Parallels clients for HTML, all clients and also HTML5 browsers and Windows devices are customizable, which means that you can give your end user a user interface which has a personalized look with their, I guess, maybe their corporate colors, logo, and so on. QuickPad, you're able to define custom keys to replace repetitive keystroke sequences. Custom keys can be tapped just like any other key on iOS or Android virtual keyboards. And I guess, why would you do that? So if you're delivering maybe an app to handheld devices, and that app has some complicated acrobatics that you would need to undertake on a keyboard, you can pre-program these and have them as just as, as shortcuts on the handheld device. Native gestures is another, I guess, fairly new features, which allows you to use native touch gestures such as swipe, drag, tap to click, and zoom in with any Windows application on mobile devices. Multitasking, also a really useful feature, which allows you to switch between multiple open files on demand. So you can use apps simultaneously with iPad multitasking features such as slide over, split view on the Parallels iOS client. And we also support Samsung DeX as well. So extended drag and drop functionality, so users can drag and drop files from the server to the client and vice versa. So it's truly, I guess, bilateral. You can drag files from published resources, applications, and desktops to local Windows and Mac OS workstations. And lastly, I'll just touch on the bi-directional audio. So IT administrators may enable redirections of sound input and output from the local device to the remote application, and use so you can use a local headset even for server-based applications. And I've got a couple of customers who basically have contact centers that are running parallel to us for that same reason. All right. So on enhancing data security, this is quite an important slide, so I'll take some time on it. So data security has always been a key focus for us, and the result of that has been that Parallels Remote Application Server is a very secure product. We believe that we have a security solution set that would meet the needs and requirements of most customers, pretty much all customers, to be honest. So you could see by our case studies that we sell into very security sensitive verticals such as health, government, finance, and so on. And I guess a little more on this data security. So improve security by centralizing data. So with virtualized desktops, the actual data rests in the data centers or remote servers. So eliminating the loss of data on local machines. Because data is centralized, it is easier to detect and isolate viruses or threats before they cause damage. Further, the virtual machine has no contact with a machine operating system. So there's little possibility of a program damaging other files or applications. Also, because the data is centralized and virtual machines are behind strong firewalls, the company's IT team can manage usage and reduce potential risks. This centralized control can better enable application activity monitoring. So on monitoring, I guess, control and restricting data access, we've got granular filtering rules that can be created to restrict users' access to the farm, adding another layer of data protection. So IT staff can define several filtering rules to decide who can access a published resource based on, I guess, the type of user, their IP address, their MAC address, maybe the gateway that they're using to get into the environment. The ability to enforce client policies to any device. We include a feature to configure the Parallels client settings. So this is known as a client policy. A client policy is a set of rules defined by the administrator to manage, control, and restrict the settings options available to users. Also, manage Windows client in kiosk mode. So administrators can convert Windows devices running Windows 7, 8, 8.1, and 10 into a secure kiosk-like mode without replacing the operating system. The kiosk mode option limits users from changing system settings or installing new applications, providing the administrator with a higher level of control over connected devices. And hopefully, as I go through these, you can see some of the use cases, hopefully popping up in your head with your customers. Encryption protocols. So Parallels Remote Application Server Secure Client Gateway by default encrypts with SSL or FIPS 140-2 protocol the user's connections to the farm, helping organizations adhere to data compliance policies such as PCI DSS, HIPAA, and GDPR. A little bit on our multi-factor authentication and smart card authentication, so an added level of security. The second level authentication can be enabled to provide a high level of protection with smart card authentication and multi-factor authentication. The second level of authentication can be provided by vendors such as Azure MFA, Duo, 40 Authenticator, Radius, TechRadius, DeepNet, Google Authenticator, which is actually a free provider, or a SafeNet server. In terms of how we deploy, we think we're pretty agile. So it's purely a pay-as-you-go with no complicated technical or training requirements. And I can't stress enough how important the agnostic posture of our product is. On business continuity and high availability, enable uninterrupted and continuous access with built-in load balancing capabilities. So Parallels Remote Application Server supports full active-active redundancy, and this prevents any application server from becoming a single point of failure, improving the overall application availability and responsiveness. It's also a one-stop solution for RDS and VDI. So RAS allows organizations to manage Microsoft RDS and VDI requirements all in the same infrastructure. So that further streamlines IT operations while reducing costs and complexity. It also allows you to mix and match different OS and technologies, so quickly address business demands by enabling the mixing and matching of different technologies such as Windows Server OS 2008, R2, 2012, R2, 2016, and 2019, VMware ESXi, Nutanix Acropolis, AHV, scale computing, and so on. It's multi-cloud ready, so RAS in the cloud offers faster, scalable, reliable access to corporate applications virtually anywhere. So you can choose from on-premises, hybrid, and public cloud deployments. And as I mentioned, we are hypervisor agnostic or independent. So Parallels Remote Application Server is a VDI hypervisor independent solution that allows organizations to mix and match different technologies such as Microsoft Hyper-V, VMware ESXi, Nutanix Acropolis, HV, and so on. But again, so it's easy to deploy. Hopefully you like our rocket of our marketing team. Again, easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. So easy for me to say, however, what you would want to do is look potentially at a proof of concept, because I probably won't go into a demo today. However, we do provide free trial keys and not for resale licenses that you can use internally in your test environments. So if you require assistance or some guidance, we are happy to do just that on a one-on-one call, because we know that many providers have unique instances and use cases which we're trying to support. Oftentimes that does require a one-on-one interaction, and that's perfectly fine. We're invested in making sure that this product meets your needs and by extension the needs of your clients. So a little bit on this rocket, client auto configuration. So you're able to quickly enroll new users to access published applications and desktops with a single click on the auto configuration link. You get a centralized management console, which allows you to perform available tasks through a single pane of glass. So you can deploy servers, publish applications, monitor resources, manage devices, offer help desk assistance, and define security policies, you name it, all from the one console. Also multi-tenancy. So multi-tenancy refers to being able to support multiple organizations on the single, infrastructure, sharing the same infrastructure. And you can monitor and manage multiple farms from just the one pane of glass. REST and PowerShell APIs allow you allow you to enable the automation of complex and repetitive tasks using REST API and or PowerShell commandlets, allow easier integration with scheduling and workflow applications into the Parallels ecosystem. And also wizard-based deployment, which is like typically the first introduction that we have to a prospect, and that allows them to effortlessly publish and manage a wide range of applications and desktops with an intuitive publishing wizard. So it's allows you to automatically generate and deploy configurable RAS templates for VDI and RDSH. Also, the last point here is auto provisioning and auto scaling, which allows you to maintain high and consistent templates or images for virtual applications and desktops by monitoring and scaling on-demand computing resources. Parallels Remote Application Server can dynamically create, remove, release, and load balance Windows operating system based on a predefined criteria, ensuring sudden load spikes are easily managed without any manual action that's required on your part. All right, so all this, we hope, adds up to a reduced total cost of ownership for you. And look, we haven't even talked about the free training and certification of what that really means for you and for your customers. That really is a big deal. So you could see that with the one model license and reduction in complexity and no add-ons, this is how we really drive down the total cost of ownership. Our product is fully featured, modular, cost-effective application delivery and VDI solution. Doesn't require third-party add-ons. However, if you want to, I don't know, use a NetScaler for whatever reason, or some sort of a third-party firewall or an F5 appliance, by all means, you can do that. Also, you don't need third-party add-ons for printing redirections, monitoring, reporting, and so on. So really, it's all wrapped up and sort of ready to deploy. So from a licensing perspective, that's very attractive. And also with the pay-as-you-go model, you're never really exposed. On reducing complexity, so obviously easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. It allows organizations to reduce IT complexity while increasing staff and users' productivity. The no steep learning curve is also a big one for us. So we have an easy to use solution that requires minimal knowledge to configure and manage the infrastructure, reducing the learning curve. Moreover, full training on Parallels Remote Application Server is provided free of charge. I've touched on the no add-ons, so I'll skip that. The all-inclusive license model, I've touched on that as well. But what I will just spend some time on is just to narrow in on the concurrent user license model. So we always use concurrent user licensing. Users can establish any number of connections to Parallels Remote Application Server as long as the number of users simultaneously accessing Parallels Remote Application Server does not exceed the number of available licenses. So, and even with SPLA, you can set that limit. Now, on SPLA, so this model is licensed per peak number of concurrent users over a billing period, which is typically a month. The data is collected on a daily basis from each farm and is used to calculate the licensing cost at the end of a billing cycle. I'll get into more detail on that as well. And also managing the sub-licensing. So we support sub-licensing, which allows you to manage multiple independent keys while retaining the same centralized consumption information. So let's talk about that and take a closer look at the licensing model. All right, so this is an animated slide, so bear with me as I animate through it. So we issue a single SPLA key, and that's basically your key for production. So once you're happy with your proof of concept, then you can use an NFR license or a trial key for that proof of concept. Once that's done and you're ready to deploy for your customers, prompt us for a SPLA key. We'll generate it for you, and as soon as it's generated, it starts to be monitored. So So for production, we allow you to develop a multitude of different farms, all serviced in this instance under a single license key. So you can see the different farms there on the slide. As you can see, there's a combination of, on-prem and hosted environments. So the single license key can be any kind of deployment, so on-prem, etc. The same key or instances can be used, and what will happen is the total count on each farm will be tallied up and aggregated. So the peak, here it is. So the peak is aggregated here in red. CU means concurrent users, and what we'll do is we will bill based on the peak number of concurrent users monthly in arrears. And so that's a really attractive, model. And another point to make here is that not only do we see your usage, but obviously you can monitor that usage as well. So you know exactly what you're going to be billed for. All right, now a little bit on how it works. All right, so your billing portal, it's a bit of a snapshot from the billing portal. So this management portal is in addition to a partner portal. So you can log into this portal and, obviously monitor your keys and place tickets, but it's very helpful for mid to large partners who have sort of large multitudes of customers that they need to break out the billing. So if you've got maybe, a dozen or say 50 small customers on your infrastructure, you can split up the billing for them using this. It's a way of giving you another window into the utilization from a customer usage perspective. And just to let you know, this info is also available via the admin portal. Some of the features here, you can export this to CSV, you can deactivate the farms regardless of deployment connections and so on. And it gives you a historical look at your connection count as well. So it is really, really a handy tool for our service provider partners. Okay, so the pricing model. So what our pricing model includes all Parallels features and functions. So as I mentioned before, probably many times, it's all inclusive. So you got your application publishing, you got your VDI and RDS, you can remote PC as well. All device clients are included with HTML5. There's a high availability load balancer that you can have, multiple instances of. We don't care how many you run. And obviously, comprehensive reporting. So what does that look from, an operational perspective? So you'll get monthly billing based on actual peak concurrent usage for all clients. That fee includes support and maintenance for all users. So if ever you have a problem, reach out to us, we can help you. Even if you want to maybe, enable some sort of a new feature that has come out, and we have new features about sort of bi-yearly that we add to the product. If you need help maybe putting on Google multi-factor authentication or troubleshooting it, you will get support for that. And what is the fee? So the fees that I've got here, I've got them broken down in two fiat, so two currencies. We've got Aussie dollars and US dollars. So what you see here is the MSRP. As Parallels partners, you will get a further discount on this. So that's important for me to stress. These are just the MSRP numbers, and the discount, is flat, and you can find that out by region by contacting, the relevant Parallels rep for that region. The US dollar pricing, we transact in US dollars, and Ari will correct me if I'm wrong, pretty much everywhere except for Australia in this region. So maybe for those that are on the call that are outside of Australia, this could be, probably more relevant for you. Okay, so more on our partner program and support. So let's have a look at what's actually involved with this. So our program allows partners to use Parallels Remote Application Server as a delivery tool for various SaaS and SaaS managed or hosted solutions. it's a bit of a recap on the presentation. There's no upfront fees or costs to join. The only thing that you need to do is to fill out an application form on our website, and we provide you with, with a link in these slides, and submit it for approval. That's really, I guess, all that you need to do to get the ball rolling. In terms of program requirements, once you've submitted that application, you just need to make sure that you're signed up with Microsoft as well. You need to, I guess, maintain 2 parallel technical certifications. Again, these are absolutely free, and it's free to do. You can attempt them as many times as you like, and take that test and the training. And also, we'd love for you to sort of complete your annual partner profile within the partner portal as well. It just helps us to have a better, I guess, understanding of you and of your business and requirements. All right, so some of the benefits of the program: you are provided a dedicated channel account manager. Depending on your geo, that it may vary. It might be myself, it might be Ari, it might be Satish, whoever it is. You also get access to a scalable solution that allows your business to grow as needed. So what that means is that, if you're not using, if you might be a partner with us, but you're not necessarily using your key, that means we won't charge you if you're not using it. Provide customized solutions, enables you to provide customized solutions on premises, in the cloud, or in hybrid environments. What I see most often in speaking with prospects and end users, I'm seeing a lot of hybrid environments. So it's not that one chooses either one or the other, but they're usually using a combination of both. Usage-based supplier license structure and simple customized usage and billing reports. The pay-per-use licensing model with no upfront license fees. Free online training, and obviously the NFR key. So the NFR key is a full-featured key. We will typically just throttle it to about 30 concurrent connections, but you can sort of lift that up if you've got some sort of a proof of concept that you need to tackle that requires more connections. Okay, so a little bit of I guess to wrap up this presentation. So if you have any questions, if you need more information, if you need to schedule a demo, reach out. We're easy to contact. Our email address is, I guess, on this slide. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. Happy to assist you where we can. We also got a link here for the form that you can submit to become a partner. And look, if you've got any questions, it looks like we still have about 10 minutes left. So by all means, use the chat window, throw them in. If you can't think of any now, just follow up later with us, and we're happy to answer those questions. I will just throw that over to maybe Ari. Ari, do you see any questions in the chat?
Thank you, Ilya. No questions here. Oh, hang on a second. There's a couple of questions coming up. Just one tick. All right, just waiting for them to type the question. So the first question, Ilya, would you be having a similar product for Linux? I have a customer ready for Linux solution. Do you know what the timeline is for that?
I don't. That's something that tends to be fluid. So it's a good question, and thank you for it. Yeah, that's something that I need to check with our development team. But look, without giving anything away, I will just let you know that we typically release new versions of the product. We do a major release towards the end of the year, and then we'll do a minor release shortly after that. So the next major release is due to hit, I guess, the market in sort of October, November. So if we were to have a feature like this, the earliest date would be around October, November potentially, but I would just need to, I guess, double check that and get back to you because it might, spill over to the next update.
Yeah, what I'll suggest you to do is, if possible, please send us an email with your question. We'll do a little bit more digging towards how the development is working towards Linux, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
And also, just to add to that, if you could add to that email the size of the opportunity for you, because what we'll do is we always sort of weigh up these feature requests, and if it's it might be enough to tip it in in favour, and make it a priority request as such.
Thanks for that, Ilya. Next question I can probably answer. What about license? Oh, sorry, just skipped one of them. Sorry, guys. I want to know about, can we get a demo of server login? So in terms of demo, once you become a partner, we'll provide you with an NFR. And it's entirely up to you where you want to set up your demo environment. If you have an account on Amazon or Microsoft Azure, or if you have your own private cloud, you can install RAS on that environment and use as a demo. Any add-ons to that question, Ilya, or good?
Yeah, look, I will just suggest it. So if you're not yet confident in deploying it, either sort of on your own servers or in the cloud, we send us an email through, or maybe we'll just let us know if that's the case. And what we can do is we can give you user access to an Azure demo that we have. But I'll just say that with a bit of warning. It's only for I guess front-end access. It's not admin access, so you won't be able to see the back end and tinker with things, but you'll be able to maybe use that to demo to customers as if you were a customer. How to log in, single sign-on into Azure, opening up various applications, maybe firing up some sort of VDI through it. That we can provide for you without you having to install anything.
All right, thanks, Ilya. Next question: would you support credit card payment for SPLA? Would you support credit card for SPLA payment? Not at the current state. For now, all transactions have to be done with the distributor. So if you're based out of Singapore, we have distributors over there. If you're based out of Australia, so on and so forth. If you don't know who the distributor is for your specific country, please get in contact with me and I'll send an introduction email to them. It is something we might be looking towards bringing in the future. Just depends on the actual number of connections that you have and how we can actually make that work. Other question is, what about license costs for the end user and what are the benefits SP? The prices that Ilya showed in his presentations are MSRP, so those are the what we recommend as an end user price. If you want to know what the reseller buy is, please submit your resale application, and then ourselves and the distributor will share the pricing with you. Of course, is MSRP, so you can charge based on the solution you're providing. That's just the cost of the actual of our licensing and what we recommend.
Yeah, thank you, Ari. I just wanted to say that as far as this program goes for service providers, the MSRP is just a suggestion from us. So it really depends on, I guess, the level of services that you guys are providing to the customers. So you can charge whatever you deem necessary or what you agree with your customer. For us, we don't sell this product or the version of this product online. So there's no way that we can sort of keep people to a particular MSRP like we can with subscription, with our typical subscription model for resellers.
All right, jumping to the next question. Is there any timeline for Parallels RAS to support macOS remote access? We're probably going to have to do some more research on that and get back to you on that specific answer, unless you know it, because I don't know at the top of my head.
Oh, no, sorry, I don't know either.
All right. So once again, if you could please just send that question as an email to us. I'm taking notes here, but just so we can actually get back to you as quick as possible. Please contact myself directly or either directly or the PSP email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And the question that I have here, is there an end user data sheet?
Yes, we can. There's Parallels remote application server data sheet. There's a 2-page and a 4-page data sheet, if that's what you're after.
It's good to add that once you become a Parallels partner, you'll be given access to the Parallels partner portal, where of course you can manage your license, you can check your usage, as well as gain access to all our marketing and collateral materials. So there you'll be able to find battle cards, specific explanation and sales guides for you to promote the products. And so everything that you need basically to hit the ground running on those licensing model subscriptions, blah, or whatever product you decide to go with, we have the information ready to go on the partner portal. Which of course, once you become a partner, if you want me to navigate you through the portal and show you where things are, but it's pretty easy peasy to find. I guess I covered all the questions. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to put in the chat and we will read them out.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you jumping on the call. It was a good turnout today.
All right, no more questions. Thank you so much for presenting this. And thank you all for attending. You'll be receiving a recording of the presentation the next day or so. So there were a couple of people with audio issues. So you'll be able to rewatch the presentation and get the parts that you missed. If any questions comes back during the rewatching, please feel free to get in contact with us. All right, thank you very much, and I'll see you all on the next webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Take care.